Started scoring caramel lattes all across the country.
I was almost at the point of drawing the line around the bath like they used to do in World War II and saying this is...
No Bakewell tarts, no caramel lattes, no apple pies.
Oh, he's missing so much out on this, honestly. Welcome back to the Romany Pirates. This week you join us in Holmfirth, which is a setting for the famous British sitcom Last of the Summer Wine. And right now I'm stood on compost stairs.
And if you saw last week's episode, you'll have seen that we showed you stage 5 of our 10-stage plan.
Keep watching as we catch you up and show you stages 1, 2, 3 and 4.
So if you've watched us before, you'll know that we travel around in our camper van called Romany, all across the UK, going on various adventures.
We also have a canal boat, which we're doing up to become a business, and that'll be another place for us to be able to stay.
World's tiniest coffee shop.
That's so little. So Last of the Summer Wine is classed as the world's longest standing sitcom. And it was about 3 middle-aged men that basically didn't want to grow up, so very much like us. So we're now going to go and get a little bit of lunch and go into the cafe behind us, which featured in the sitcom just about every week, really.
It's a bit full in the cafe, and obviously we've got Daisy in the pram, so we're just going to sit outside and have something to eat, just a little snack, nothing extravagant. I was looking at the menu.
Sorry. I'm starving.
Been rude. So Daisy's ordered a sausage, I think, have you, Daisy? From Sid's Cafe. Say hello, Daisy. Yes, that's a no. What do you mean they don't do caramel?
Oh, they do. No, they do.
Oh. I didn't think they had any caramel lattes then. We're about to go somewhere else. That would have been a deal breaker, wouldn't it? If you're new to the channel, it's a bit of a running joke that everywhere we go, we get a caramel latte. We thought we'd share with you kind of how we've come to live the life we do between the boat and the cottage that we've got and the van kind of touring all over the UK. It's not that easy to do when you've got kids at home. At the time, kind of going back 10 years ago, the kids were little. We wanted to live kind of an alternative lifestyle and just get away from the rat race a little bit. And everybody we asked were sort of saying, just do it, just jump, get buy a van, take off, go live in Ibiza, go live in Spain. And the reality is, you can't do that. When you've got kids and they're at school, you can't just take off. That's a little bit about what we want to share with you as well. How do you do that right now? You know, if you've got kids at home or whatever, or you're in a career and you can't do it immediately, you know, how do you find that little bit of an alternative lifestyle within all that, I guess?
So around about 10 years ago, we decided we wanted to look forward to some more freedom, didn't we? Just kind of getting out of the rat race and doing something completely different. We started with what we class as a 10-stage plan, which were a 10-year plan.
So that particular caramel latte there, I'd say, what, 7 out of 10? 7. Started scoring caramel lattes all across the country. We've ordered a brie and cranberry toasty. Quite reasonably priced as well, isn't it?
Yeah, not so bad at all. See what it's like. Sitting here having a caramel latte might seem like something that's pretty normal, pretty average.
We don't look that normal.
No, there is that. But for us, this was like a proper luxury at one point, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Going back about 8 years now, we were in quite a lot of debt. It wasn't frivolous spending, it wasn't stupid things, it were things that we'd had to spend money on. Things that we had
through
to...
circumstances.
Yeah, through circumstances, we had to spend money and we had to put a lot of money into some stuff. And that left us in a position where we were in a lot of debt. It's scary to think that now, isn't it?
It was scary at the time
really,
as well.
Really frightening. We started by getting ourselves out of that debt, really.
I am the first to admit that I'm absolutely terrible with money. And any money in my pocket just gets spent. It gets spent on hats, flutes, scarves, whatever. So we made an agreement, didn't we? Like, my doing, I said, like, all my wage will go to you, and that way I can't spend it.
Well, my job then to just get us out of that debt, basically. So we couldn't even have like a cup of tea in a cafe, a slice of cake in a cafe, nothing, could we?
Caramel lattes in them days were a no-go. Couldn't have a Bakewell tart. Couldn't have, could I? They were awful. And because I don't understand money in terms of, I don't my brain just don't work that way. I don't put value to things. It's just, it is what it is, and I pay it. And so I was struggling, like, because all I wanted more than anything else in the whole wide world were a caramel latte and a Bakewell tart, because they're the two things that I love.
If you are in debt and you're trying to get out of that situation, what we did, well, we basically went round all the family and we asked for anything that they wanted to get rid of on a weekly basis. Family, friends, anybody, advertising for stuff, and we would go around, we'd pick it all up in our old van at the time then, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
we had a little Renault.
We'll show you a little
Traffic.
picture of that actually, because that were all graffitied and it was pretty cool. And we would go to car boots, and whatever we made on the car boots is what we ate that week as a whole family. So if we made 30 quid, we had to make it last for the week, and we had to use that as a shopping money.
One week we made 90 quid and we were all well happy.
Yeah, we were well happy. And then we used to basically
Have toast with your beans that week.
And then basically the rest of the money went on clearing the debt off. And I were determined that we were going to clear that debt off within 2 years. We did everything that we could to make extra money, to make savings, wherever we could, everything. I were like the light police going around switching lights off. If you're cold, tough luck, put a jumper on. I was almost at the point of drawing the line around the bath like they used to do in World War II and saying this is how much bath water you can have. But I didn't do that, did I? I didn't
No, you didn't go that
far, really.
Laughing now, but it wasn't funny at the time. If you're in that situation, it can be scary.
Oh, it is scary. But we did it and we got there.
We got
so
there
that
in
was
the end.
stage one of our plan. We got debt free within 2 years.
And it were at that point I vowed to always put caramel lattes first. Oh, she's found a second-hand shop.
Come on, we can go in here.
We need to get you one of those t-shirts that says, if lost, please return to the second-hand shop. Find nearest second-hand shop, she's in there browsing. That is why I also love second-hand shops. Literally all our clothes are second-hand charity clothes. But I've just got a pair of Levi 501s for a £5. Result.
So once you've cleared yourself of that debt, I think it just frees your mind up into thinking that you can even start to think towards the future. Whenever you've got that hanging over you, it's just really, really difficult to think about anything else other than working to continue to pay that debt off. So you're never going to get out of that kind of matrix system. The next stage, Reese thought, was to going to be able to enjoy apple pies and Bakewell tarts. Stage 2 were basically about us being able to start saving. So anything that we wanted to do, we're going to need money. We'd lived without money. We realised that living without money, we're not being free. You're not free when you've got no money. You need money to do stuff. So the second stage of our plan was save, save, save.
No Bakewell tarts, no caramel lattes, no apple pies. So if you haven't seen Last of the Summer Wine before, watch it. It's an old British sitcom. I used to watch it all the time with my nan, and it's just absolutely hysterical. Follows a guy called Compo and his friends. Well worth a watch. Emma's going to tell you what stage 3 is. We're back at Romany in the van now, and we're going to jump in and head to the canals.
And we like to go down to visit quite a few canals, don't we, as we sort of travel in, because it keeps us motivated.
Yeah.
Anyway, after we'd sort of completed stage 2, which was the saving part of it, for about 5 years now by this point, we've been completely and utterly skint and had nothing. And then came stage 3, which were what are we going to spend this money on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What we're going to do next with it, where are we going to invest it. What we knew is that we needed it to make us money. So we had a house that we were living in. We'd got kids, but they were growing up and sort of going on to like college and university and various other bits. But basically, when you've got kids, you want to always know you've got a spare room for them in case all happens and they want to come home. So we knew we needed a house, but we knew we needed something to also make us money. So we'd sort of seen all these villages, all these sort of quintessential towns, and we thought, well, we could make money if we bought a house that were in one of those touristy areas where people might want to come and visit and might be willing to sort of pay for an Airbnb or something like that. And we came across this house.
Built in 1860.
Yes, it's really old cottage. But we managed to actually pull together, you know, enough money to be able to put a deposit down on it. We bought the house, still tied into our old house. So we couldn't use any money from that, but that turned out to be a really good thing, because then about sort of a year or so down the line, when we could sell the old house, we got a chunk of money from it then, didn't we?
Yep.
Not a massive amount, but enough for us to go ahead and then buy another small property. So now we're sort of in a position where we've got a mortgage on our cottage, but we're in a touristy area, so we can use it as Airbnb let. We bought a tiny little bungalow, didn't we?
Yeah, about that big.
It's really, really small, and we've sort of bought that just to set both the kids up.
I set them both up, and it were a case of, do we put this money into a bank or do we put it into property? And it just made more sense to, number one, set the kids up, and number two, invest that money in property.
And it's the potential of, like, in the future, knowing that we can let that little bungalow out and we can make some money from that. We can make some money from our Airbnb. So we know that kind of going down the line, we've got the potential of income streams coming in all the time. One thing that kept us going over them years and kept us feeling free, we're travelling, wasn't it? We're being able to still just jump in a van. Yeah. Get to the end of the week, you've had a bad week at work, just jump in van, take off, and we still felt we had that freedom. So keep watching and we'll tell you more about that stage 4 next.
So stage 4 in the master plan was getting a van big enough so that we could essentially live in it when we were on the road. Basically, we knew we wanted to travel more. We had a plan of how we were going to make money. We ended up getting Romany, the van that we've got now, and basically doing her up from the start. If you haven't seen that episode, go back and watch that.
Oh, he's missing so much out on this, honestly.
I'm missing loads out.
He's
I'm rubbish
so
at this.
much out. We bought that. The first van we got was a Renault Traffic, which we spray painted, didn't we?
Yeah.
We graffitied that, and then
with a dragon,
with some mates of ours that did it for us. Getting insurance for that were a nightmare. And then we went for a Commer. Do you remember the Commer?
Yeah, an old Commer, like it, yeah. I think a Commer is even before like the original VW Californias and all that. Like,
I'm not joking.
Really old.
Picked this thing up, and he was driving it, and he's going, "Emma, I can't drive this. I can't drive this. It had no power steering, and you'd never driven it.
I'd never driven anything without power steering. Emma had driven like without power steering before, so you took over, didn't you?
It was like driving a bus, like a tank. And there were just no response to it whatsoever. And we were driving down motorway with basically like 2 candles as headlights, and you couldn't see a thing. And it didn't go above 50, and that sounded like it were going to fall apart going down motorway. And as soon as we got it home, we were like, "This has got to go. It's got to go. Can't drive this anywhere." So we sold that to a woman who were going to make a bun shop out of it. One of your kind of traditional motorhomes, but an old one. That were not much better, were it, really?
No.
That were absolutely rubbish.
We're going to do at some point as well is we'll film a separate episode around the vans that we've had, I think.
Yeah, we'll try and put some pictures up if we can find them, won't we?
Yeah, I think it'd be good if you're looking for a camper van to kind of explain to you why we got a 2019 Ford Transit.
Yeah.
Because there were a very specific reason why we did that. Basically, yeah, that were part of the plan, being able to Airbnb the cottage out. We knew that we'd need to be on the road, and we wanted to travel more.
We've driven across, like, you know,
France,
France, Spain.
Everywhere.
We've done a lot of sort of touring around that area with the kids as well, haven't we?
Kids.
And, you know,
that was fun.
That's been amazing.
We'll tell you about that story in another episode. Stage 5 was the boat. So we knew that we needed a boat to make the business idea that we had in mind a reality, basically. So that's why we bought the narrow canal boat. If you've not seen that episode, that was last week's episode, go back and check that out. And yeah, that was stage 5 basically, was getting the boat so that we could run a business off the boat and have another place that we could stay in and sleep in and be able to explore the British canals as well, which is very, very difficult to do in a Ford Transit camper van.
So having the canal boat is like a completely different pace of life. It's much more relaxed and laid back, and if you've watched our channel you'll see that we sort of travel around the van very, very quickly. We go from place to place super fast. It's just who we are, it's what we like to do. But being able to be on the canal boat means that you've got that opportunity to just slow things down a little bit.
So Emma has a habit of finding a tiny house that she could live in wherever we go. There's one there, look.
I just want to live like, I mean, I love what we've done now, and the plan that we've made has kind of been really strategically thought out in order for us to live a freer life. It's ironic really, and we've kind of made this plan to buy more properties, to have more things in order to live a life with less, which is a little bit weird really, but
we just want to travel, don't we?
And you've got to fund that. But in my dream, if somebody could just say, what do you want to do, it would be to have Romany and travel, have the canal boat and travel, but to actually just live in like the tiniest little house with one little room in it. And I've looked at all sorts. I've taken us around garages and stuff, you know, and saying we could live in this, we could put a chimney in here.
We could have a fold-out bed in a garage. All sorts of stuff, just to try and live a freer life.
One of the things that I found, do you remember, were a lifeboat. Where it held a lifeboat. It was
that was cool. Yeah, where was that? That was up in Arnside in Lake Street.
Yeah, it was like a right little kind of building where they had a lifeboat stored in there, and it was really small, but it was really cute, and it was right next to sea as well, wasn't it?
Daisy, where are we going? Say hello. So yeah, stage 5 basically, obviously don't have to be a boat per se, you know, obviously like I say, we're setting up a business on the boat, but just get yourself a way of making money that you can make yourself basically, be your own boss.
So you've had stages 1 to 5, and that's all we're going to show you, I'm afraid, for this episode. But coming up in the future episodes, we will tell you about our sort of next stages, going up to stage 10, and some of the weird and wonderful things we've done over the years to try and make extra money. Things that have failed, things that have just been a right laugh,
and
basically.
Things that have been a success. So now we are going to head back down south. We're going to check out Jurassic Coast. We're going to try and find some dinosaur fossils. We're going to probably drop back in at Devon and Cornwall. We've got some exciting things up as well over the next few weeks. So we're going to be on the road now for a few weeks, exploring the south. So stay tuned, Monday 8 PM next week. And write your own story. See you next time, guys.